So they're at least in like is the sandwich at least like wrapped?
No, it's on the tray, sitting on the tray.
No, she said yes.
Oh, it's wrapped.
Yeah.
No, it is wrapped.
Oh,
Okay,
I'm expecting
so our
just,
brain
I'm
like
just
went
thinking-
straight to the exact extreme. Was like a raw dog like
Okay.
hamburger.
So this. And welcome back to the Riley Back Project. Crystal and John.
Hey.
What's up?
Recovering.
Yeah. Yes, because you're sick once again. No, I shouldn't say once again.
No, I've been
been a while.
I've been good. So
Yeah.
it's been threatening for a couple months.
And now
And then we decided to like travel the entire United States and got a little stressed on the last one.
We didn't
so
decide to travel the United States. It decided to take us around.
That's true.
But more on that
Fair.
on the life update and
Yeah.
last week's episode.
Uh-huh.
This episode is brought to you by
Katie with Monarch Pine. If you are looking for jewelry findings or Blake's, check out her website, monarchpine.com, and use code RileyBlack for 10% off. Hopefully they can understand all of that with
and
patrons get more.
There
Sorry.
you go. That's what I was waiting for. Because that leads me into, if you are a patron and are not part of the TRBP Hangout Facebook group that we created just for patrons, be sure to join that.
We went live in it last week.
We did because the show,
because of the travel
the
debacle,
whole thing.
we decided to go live for the recording of the episode.
Right.
So yeah, I think that was a good backup plan if we ever have something
and
like that again.
Was really sick. Then you got sick.
No, I got really sick
and
this
had to
weekend.
close the studio.
Yeah.
I say all that to say that as of the recording of this show, that one is still not up for patrons, but it is on the Facebook group. So that's why you join TRBP Hangout. It's not on Patreon yet, but it's in the Hangout group.
Get it together.
And if you're Gen Pop, we still got you covered. Riley Black Project Community Facebook group. Join that. Quarterly After Darks there. And all the other stuff. You get teases and stuff like that. Yeah. Anyway.
When we post them.
Yeah. Anyway. Today's guest.
Yes.
I already forgot the company name, but I remember.
Oak Embers.
There we go. Perfect.
Oak and Ember, I think.
So she gave us a slew. Jordan with Oak and Embers. She gave us a slew of things. So she's got a Great Dane. She's like a foot shorter or taller. I forget which one of the two of her spouse. She 2 feet. 2 feet.
2 feet.
2 feet. 2 foot difference.
Not two. It's like 1 foot 7 inches, I think.
Okay. Who's
That's
shorter?
A lot, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff. Says basically just ask me. I don't know, dude. Just ask me and I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Was how she ended it.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Good. Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told my 12-year-old because, like, his entire world revolves around the internet.
Of course.
I told him that I was going to be here, and he was like, "What?
You're going to be on a podcast?"
Oh my God! Right? Now he thinks I'm the coolest person in the whole world.
That's right.
I mean, you pretty much are.
And wait till you tell me you were on the #1 maker podcast.
Right.
Oh,
Self-proclaimed number one.
I was like, are we one of those people?
For this episode, to impress a 12-year-old, yes,
this is true.
We are the Joe Rogan.
We do have
of the laser community,
like 75,000 downloads.
I mean,
so
that's all.
I mean,
no huge, humble brag. That's all we got.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you guys shouldn't be striving to impress adults because adults are pretty easily impressed. You should be striving to impress preteens and teens because they don't give an F about nothing.
Right.
And they're the future
so
adults.
Hard to impress. Yeah.
Literally.
I strive to impress my 8-year-old.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do.
Hey, we do it sometimes.
We do, especially because he's into football. So when I throw it over him, he gets really impressed.
Yeah, or when Kim and Garrett gives him a shout out, says his name on their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, then he's like, who?
He's like, he's somebody. Anyway.
So, she recently posted in That One with the Laser, and I had seen her post before, but she had posted recently, and she made a QR code sign for a tattoo shop, and she was
Oh.
sharing it. And it was just really good. For one, you use mostly wood, right?
Yeah, I use almost exclusively wood.
Yeah. And it was done so well, it looked like acrylic.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, to me, it looked like acrylic. It was just really, really painted very well, finished very well, nice colors. And I had seen, it might have been one of your first posts in the groups, but it was that sign that you made for it was like a Mystics shop, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So I just really liked her style, and so in the comments, I said I loved it or whatever, and I was like, "Hey, you want to be on a podcast?" And then she said yes, and so I slid into her DMs, and then here we are.
Nice.
So, how did you get into the laser world? Were you doing creative stuff before, or how did that happen?
Yeah, so I've always been like a very aggressively, you know, like I've always had this like really deep drive to make stuff. When
Yeah.
I was a kid, we didn't have a lot of money growing up, but I still had that, that urge. So I would make anything out of anything. Like
Hmm.
I would go into the woods with a handsaw, rusty as all hell, and I would cut down, branches, and I would nail them together to make a house for my cat or something. I learned really early how to make do with what I had in terms of creating, and so that kind of that made what I like to call my MacGyver brain. It's
Yeah.
really easy for me to kind of like take what I have and use it to make something better, even if
Yeah.
it's not necessarily the appropriate tool. So yeah, I've
Right.
always been super creative, and I love making stuff with my hands. And I had a sewing business actually,
Okay.
and I closed that down in late or I think like mid 2000, late 2019.
Mm.
And I had actually seen this post somewhere on the internet of a laser cut and engraved and hand painted Settlers of Catan that was done in Game of Thrones sort of
Mm.
style. And like it was just one of those moments like my eyes were like, oh, right?
OMG, yeah.
That was the moment that I was like, because I'd never heard of, laser cutting or engraving before then. And but then I was on it.
Right.
And so I closed my sewing business down, liquidated everything, and I used, part of what I got from that to buy my first Glowforge.
Nice.
And this was, the very beginning of when laser cutters were becoming mainstream. So of course it
Right.
cost like a fortune
Yep.
to buy compared to now.
Right.
And then yeah, I just kind of went from there. I did it really casually for a few years on the side, and 2 years ago, this is my third year doing it full time. 2 years ago, I decided that I just couldn't do my day job anymore. I was a hairstylist for 15 years, and
Mm.
my neck was all jacked up and my
Right.
wrists were all jacked up, and I was like, it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time for something different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what kind of things did you set out to make? Was it the same as what you actually enjoyed making, or did you just kind of go with the flow and, wait for requests or inspiration?
In the beginning, I kind of started out by making what spoke to me, and then when I needed, to make a little bit of extra money around the holidays and stuff, I would make what I thought would sell. And very quickly I realized that I didn't want to be a laser maker who just made what people wanted. I wanted to be an artist who used my machine as a tool to create my art. Um, the first year was really difficult for me. It was
Yeah.
really difficult. I put a lot of pressure on myself to, I
Hmm.
mean, I was delusionally confident when I quit my job. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I had no doubt in my mind that I was going to be rich. And then
Right.
and then I and then, quit my job, didn't have my paycheck, and I didn't give myself space to have the learning period. So I put a lot of pressure on myself, and it was really, really difficult to be in a learning stage while I was also like, you got to make money and a lot of it all the
Right.
time.
Yeah.
So the first year was really, really hard. But the second year, I decided I was going to start doing markets, which was horrifying to me
No.
because it
Yeah.
They
seemed
are.
people would be like, so are you doing markets yet? And I'm like, buddy, you don't just do a market. Okay. You need
Right.
stuff.
Yeah, a
Like you
lot of
need,
stuff.
yeah, like you can't just, you got to have a setup and you could like, it's not that easy. So
Yeah.
I started doing markets and I showed up with my like, my my kooky witchy stuff and my like, subversive home decor, my sarcastic signs and stuff. And
Right.
I didn't think too much of it. But once I broke into the market sphere, I realized the importance of networking.
Mm.
Excuse me. So I started networking and I started meeting people. And then I realized that there is this enormous untapped market of vendors who needed signage but didn't
Right.
know where to go to get it. Like it's actually quite hard to find someone. And so little by little, I would get people messaging me being like, "Hey, I saw your work. Can I have something made?" And I kind of shifted into making this like super custom, very one-off unique projects.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of my niche now. Like there are a lot of sign makers, in my area, but mine are very like my style is very much like, okay, I want people to look at this and I want it to just be dripping in your vibes. Like I want
Yeah.
that to be for you and only you. Nobody else is ever going to have it. Like
Right.
that's yours.
Yeah. So kind of like, yeah, you don't want just like, oh, here's a black and gold sign, like, it's in your branding colors. Like you want it to like ooze them and their brand. And like that tattoo one, it totally did. It was I don't remember all of the details, but there was like was there like a bear and that held some cards, right?
Yeah, so she wanted it to be sweets themed. And so I
Mhm.
made the portion that holds her business cards was a gummy bear and I
Mm.
made it so that you could slot the cards in sideways and it looked like the bear was holding the
Hugging. Yeah.
cards.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, yeah, no. So and then there was a little detail on the one side. She also wanted to have the ability to she said sometimes they give out stickers, not
Mm.
always. So I added another little detail, and I kind of spaced it away from the front board enough that she can slide stickers in there, but if
Uh,
she doesn't have any, she can
it
leave it
doesn't
empty and
look
it
out of place, right?
doesn't look empty. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that you
Nice.
did candy on that side, right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it just
Nice.
it looked really cool, really unique. I mean, I've considered doing something similar here. I tried doing some markets again here, and I have a love-hate relationship for them because they are great for networking with other local businesses. They're great for meeting your community, for getting your name out there. But holy F, because, just in case your 12-year-old watches this later, they're a lot of work, so much work. And
Yeah.
we're in Florida and it's hot. And even on the coolest day, packing things in and packing things out. And I have the help of this guy. There's a lot of women who go to these shows who don't have this guy to do all that, to help them, load, unload, set up the tent,
Right.
all that stuff. And it's just so much work. And then, during the slow times, during the shows, I would always walk around to the other vendors. I'd introduce myself. And there's actually, one that I need to start working on now, but she sells spices and some like, I mean, some of them are like, I don't know if you'd consider them like wet spices because some of them are in like
Yeah,
jars,
they're like
like
in it's almost like
oil or
pickled.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, she makes like, grows a lot of it, I think, in her own, backyard. And then sells like the spices. And so like prime example, the last show we went to, she was selling like a packet of like ranch, right? And it was right before, it was actually the day of Super Bowl, and you were gonna go to the store and get like a packet of ranch to like, mix with what is it?
Sour
Like
cream.
sour cream, yeah, to make like ranch dip. But then, I bought it from her. But all of that to say, I was like, she had just ordered a QR code before her last show from Amazon, I believe. I don't think it was Etsy. I think it was Amazon. But it was very like not her. It might have
cookie cutter.
Yeah, if she's lucky, it might have had her logo on it. And then it was clear acrylic, right? And so it was really hard for people to see it because of, you could see all the things behind it. So she had to literally tape like a piece of paper behind it. Like, so she's like making this thing that she spent, I don't know, probably $30 or $40 on, even on Amazon, where she's having to like make it work. And it's not that great. And I was like, no, you need one where like we have a picture of like your oils and your spices, and like the QR code is on, like, just very custom to her. And that way it like adds to either their store or their booth, or you know what I mean? There's a huge need for other local, awesome creative businesses to have that custom stuff.
Are you tired of endlessly joining jump rings? There's gotta be an easier way. Are your wrists aching after numerous orders? Introducing Keychain Thingies, the time-saving solution for anyone making keychains. It's so fast and easy. These revolutionary plastic thingies make large or multiple orders a snap. So easy, even a child can do it.
That was so easy.
So what are you waiting for? Go to keychainthingies.com and order now. Keychain Thingies will change your life. However, they should not be used to cure any medical ailments, repair broken relationships, or help lose weight. Do not use Keychain Thingies unless you want to save time and aggravation. The Riley Black Project is sponsored by Monarch Pine.
Monarch Pine is your trusted source for premium laser blanks and jewelry findings. From large loop earring hooks made specifically for acrylic and wood earrings to laser-tested stainless steel necklace and bracelet blanks, they have everything you need to bring your creative ideas to life.
As a maker, you know the value of quality supplies. And that's exactly what Monarch Pine delivers. Whether you're crafting as a hobby or running a full-time business, their products make it easy to design confidently and create stunning pieces.
Head to monarchpine.com and use code RileyBlack to get 10% off your order. Riley Black patrons get an even bigger discount, so don't miss out.
While you're at it, join the Monarch Pine Craft Supply Insiders Facebook group. It's a vibrant community where makers share tips, inspiration, and their incredible creations.
Monarch Pine, where your creativity takes center stage. Visit monarchpine.com and use code RileyBlack today.
Not tomorrow.
Today.
Totally. And it really changes the way that you feel, I think, about what you're creating when you can truly connect with your brand like that. When you're like, yeah, that's me. Like, that's my thing. I mean, for me, it's important anyways to feel super connected to my brand. So that's a big part of why I love being able to make such custom pieces, because again, like, yeah, that's all you, babe.
Right. Yeah. And it just adds to, again, the cohesiveness, right? If you go into a business or, you go to someone's table and like it all just like works, and we all start where we are at, right? Sometimes that means the generic white QR code, pay here or follow me here signs. Right. But when you can add those little special touches, they just really make a difference. Yeah. And I know that I care more when that kind of responsibility is put on to me and someone's item too. Like, it's a lot easier to like just go above and beyond and like kill it on a project when, it's that like custom.
Yeah. So when you got the Glowforge and you get into lasering, it opens up the world to so many projects and so many things. Have you worked with other mediums like acrylic or anything and added to your wood piece, or do you strictly stick with the wood?
Like, it really depends. I started out with wood because it was the more cost-effective option, but I stayed with wood because I love how versatile it is. And so like oftentimes when people would, order from me, I'd get their brand colors and I'm at Home Depot, like comparing like I've got my phone and a swatch, and I call the girl over and I'm like, which swatch do you think matches this so like I'm matching paint to your
Yeah.
brand
Yeah.
colors, and you just don't really have that with acrylic.
Right.
So there's definitely been times where I've thought about kind of like switching over to acrylic, but I love wood. I love how versatile it is. I can get it in like many different thicknesses. With acrylic, you're really limited. You've got like 3 millimeter in the
Right.
colors, and then maybe 6 millimeter in the very like black, white, clear.
Right.
And you don't have like it's super limiting, I find.
Yeah.
So I've kind of started like I'll use 1.5 millimeter acrylic for white lettering, like if I'm doing white
Mm.
lettering. So on that candy themed one, I used it for all the lettering, just because it's easier than trying to paint the the
Edges and
dark
stuff.
edges. Yeah.
Yeah.
But generally, no, I stick with wood. I find that it feels better in your hands. It's got more depth to it. And it's honestly, it's more work. It really is, because I'm all
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
sanding and painting and sanding. And like that's how I get my stuff so smooth. It's just 1,000 coats of paint that I've
Yeah.
sanded and then 1,000 coats of sealer. So it's a lot more work, but I find that it just has more depth to it.
Yeah.
So now I've kind of stuck there. I've played around with leatherette a couple times.
Mm.
Same thing. Like it's just very like meh. I don't like being restricted to brown with black.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing for me. I didn't want to be the kind of, I'd find that you go to markets and you see a laser booth and it's just like beige, just a
Yeah.
wall of beige. And it's so hard for you to, kind of pick out. And it was really underwhelming. And I didn't want to be one of those laser makers who stopped at beige. I really
Yeah.
wanted to
Yeah.
be able to have lots of color in my work. And yeah, so
Yeah,
what
I will
does that
say
for me?
that is one thing when we've gone to markets here.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell those that make things, use lasers,
Uh,
because it's not beige over here. It's more so that like cherry wood
yeah.
and just engraved. Like there is no color fill, there's no
Mm-hmm.
pop. It is just that, not even a varnish or anything. It's
Right.
just like, either the cutting board or whatever it is,
Uh-huh.
out of like that light cherry wood look,
Mm-hmm.
and it's engraved, and that's pretty much it. Which I feel
Yeah.
like if someone did that, not us, because you hate
I hate
working with
wood.
wood,
Yeah.
because
I
of
don't have the patience
because of
for
all
the
the work,
sanding,
right?
sealing, all of that. And so like acrylic is my jam
Right.
for that reason, because I was like, wait, I can get the acrylic and I don't have to do any of that.
Hmm.
Cool, I'm
Mhm.
sold.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like if any one of them like just added some color,
Yeah.
again, even if it was like a stain on the wood,
Mm-hmm.
it would make them stand out from everybody else's, because again, instead of the beige, you see their booth, and it's
Right.
all that light wood color
Mm-hmm.
on across all projects, different
Right.
projects, but all the same color tone across.
Yeah. And so did you seek out like your people, or did they kind of find you? Because it had like the similar themes, right? The like mystic shops and tattoo shops and that kind of and the, like you said, the sarcastic and that kind of stuff. Did those people find you with your content, or did you kind of go after them?
Honestly, they have all found me. And that's kind of where I, believe that networking is
Yeah.
huge, because
Mhm.
all of the work that I get is, either through word of mouth or people who kind of stumble on my page.
Yeah.
When I started doing markets, I really stick heavily to the kind of like, alternative,
Mm-hmm.
unique, like my first, my favorite market ever that I go to is just this little witchy market. And, the groups are really tight, and everybody talks. And
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of got a slow roll going, and then I did a couple really nice pieces, and after that it was just a snowball.
That's awesome. So when did you do you still have the Glowforge?
No, I don't have, well, okay, technically yes, it's down in my basement.
Mm.
And every time I walk by it, I'm like, what an expensive paperweight. I
Right.
I have the intention of selling it, but it's been so long since I've used it now that I don't even know what Glowforge is doing, if I can.
Right.
So it's
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
down there.
You can sell it for parts at the very least.
Yeah.
I still have seen those.
Yeah, that's my thought, I think.
So when did you get the Mira?
I got my Mira shortly. So I think it's been 2 years now that I've had it. I think I got it in March of 2024.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been about 2 years. And I mean, it's honestly, it's an incredible machine. I love it so much.
You have a Mira 9?
Yeah. Yeah. They came out with the red lines like right after I bought mine.
Oh no.
And I was so pissed.
That's so my luck too. Yeah. So I had an original Mira 9. I was on shipment 4. And I had her for how long? 4 years?
At least it was a while.
Yeah, about 4 years. So I started with the Glowforge, and then I got the Mira, and then I realized again I got the bigger one because everyone said go as big as you can, and I was coming from the Glowforge and had small little bed. And
well, you didn't know what you were gonna
right.
make.
I didn't really know what I was going to be doing because it was still early on in like my laser journey, I'd say. And then 4 years in, I look at my laser and I see that the dirty spot on my honeycomb is about 12 by 20 because that's all the sizes of acrylic I have. And I'm like, what am I doing with this big ass laser when all I do is cut small stuff? And anytime someone reaches out to me, for bigger signs, I basically tell them no because I'd have to, get like custom acrylic and I wouldn't have anywhere to store it and whatever. So I'm like, I'm telling people no with bigger signs. I don't have the material for it. Like, I'm not using the space. So I ended up selling my 9 and buying a Mira 5 redline. And that was a great switch for me. And it kind of, I get why people say go as big as you can afford.
Right.
Because it can be difficult to, upgrade once you just spent all this money on a machine. At the same time, like sometimes it is okay to start a little bit smaller until you really figure out what you're doing because, by 4 years in, I had figured, I really enjoy the small things, keychains, cake toppers, tumblers.
Yeah.
I don't need a big ass machine for those things, And so it really honestly didn't make, a ton of sense for me to keep it.
Yeah. I'm looking at it, I really like for if you're gonna start one that really can like get you everything, gets you like obviously not the size of the 9, but a 7 is the size of a 7.
It's a perfect medium.
The bed size, not necessarily going like with a Mira 7, but the size of the 7, it's big enough to get you good size
bigger,
projects, but it's still not overkill for the smaller stuff, and it's a good way to gauge what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because if you go to the 5, now you're really limited to just like smaller
12
things.
by 20. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you go with the 9, although the argument could be made, I guess, you can use the 9 for small stuff and it keeps you open for bigger things.
If you want
you want them to be.
Yeah.
So I think 7's a pretty good size. Now that, we also have a 7.
Right.
Not red line.
No.
Because we can't have 2 red lines.
No, not yet.
But
maybe someday.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
So how has the journey been? You said the first year was really difficult. Now, you said they're kind of like flooding in. Do you have like a wait list? Like, how are your signs and stuff going? Especially like, with everything going on right now. I feel like businesses are either absolutely killing it or kind of like I'm over here struggling for my life. So, where are you kind of at right now?
I mean, right now I do have a wait list. It's about
awesome.
like a month. Yeah, which is great. I mean, I love that for me. I never really thought that, before I started doing the markets, I had kind of come to a point where I did a couple markets and I remember one day just like doing the math and being like, how often am I going to have to do this in order to make this sustainable?
Right.
And I was like, I can't. I'm going to have to, like, I'm going to be working my ass off all day, every day, trying to sell all of these little things. And it's going to defeat the purpose of, one of the big reasons of why I did this was so that I could spend, more time with my family. I'm just going
Right.
to work myself into the ground. And so I was looking at alternative, employment options. I'm like, okay, am I going to have to go back to school? And I paused and I was like, okay, man, give yourself one more year. You've got
Right.
enough savings. You could do one more year. If in a year you haven't made any progress, then you can say that you gave it your best effort.
Yeah.
And really shortly after that was when I kind of started finding my groove. And I was like, okay, wow, I can see there is a light at the end of the tunnel. This
Right.
is, how I can do it. I can still do my like kooky weird stuff at
Mhm.
markets. But then the meat of what I'm living off of is going to be all of this custom work.
Yeah.
And so I just really kind of went hard into that.
Mhm.
I I'm a really great designer, I
Mhm.
think. And
I think so too.
yeah, thank you. And I really try to, sometimes people come to me and they ask for stuff, and I'm like, "Mm, okay, but what about this?"
Yeah.
And I throw stuff out there, and the project really evolves between the beginning and the end. And generally, like, we both kind of come out of it like it's always like super invigorating for me to be able to create this really cool stuff that I've put, so much love into. And it's great for these people as well, because oftentimes they kind of come to me and they
Mhm.
don't know what they need, but they know they need something.
Yeah.
And I'll make something for them, and then they leave and they want to do like a whole rebrand because they were working with what they were working with. They
Right.
maybe had like a Canva logo, which is great. I love that. I
Right.
love that people have Canva and they can
Right.
start
Yeah.
there. But sometimes you get to a point where you've outgrown it.
Yeah.
So then, they're kind of working with their Canva logo, and we shape it, we move it around, and then they feel like they've really got something and they go from
Mhm.
there. So sometimes I even get a little bit of like additional brand work from these projects where
Yeah.
now I'm this design that I made for them, they want it to be their new logo.
Yeah.
And so kind of we do that together. And so yeah, it's really, really kind of quickly turned around for me, and just become something that I never really expected it to be,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah.
Well, and I
So
love that the markets, they, while they weren't necessarily the right fit for you to do all of the time, right? They gave you the clarity of like, okay, this isn't what I solely need to do to make the money, right? Because we do all need to remember the reasons for starting our business in the beginning,
Mhm.
right? Now, those reasons can change, right? But like, what is my current reason for, working for myself? Is it the freedoms? Is it, more time with my family? Those things. And then sometimes you can kind of just get in the mix of it, either, because you're comparing yourself to other businesses, or something takes off that's unexpected and you're just, riding the wave. And then so sometimes you can get kind of distracted from your original reason for starting your business, right? Just for the, oh, I need to make money, right?
Mhm.
Um, but as soon as you can, when you're able to take that kind of like step back and decide to be more intentional and kind of lean into that. And then we're always a little bit shocked when like it works and we're
Yeah.
like, whoa. And it's like, well, it kind of makes sense. And I get that it doesn't happen every time, but when it does, you're like, oh, it all makes sense of like why you did all those things. And like, you kind of have to go through that path, and you have to do those like learnings along the way to figure it out. And then once you get it, then it's just like, oh, okay, this is it. And then you find like your happy place.
well, and I find that a lot of people measure their success by how much money they're making. I mean, I
Right.
did the
Mhm.
same thing, for 2 years. It was like a job here and a job there. And when I would have a bit of a dry spell, I would convince myself that I wasn't succeeding because I wasn't, good. But it's so important to understand that there is always going to be a period of seed sowing. And
Mm-hmm.
that means that there will be a period of fruition. Like, last year, I made like barely barely any money. I don't like, not as much as I had set for the year, and I was kind of bummed about it. But by the
Yeah.
time the end of the year came and I could look back at where I started versus where I was, I could see that even though I wasn't making as much money as I wanted to be making, I had been really doubling down on learning, and I had
Yeah.
learned so much, and my art style had changed, and I had refined, a lot of my like production processes,
Yeah.
and my work itself was way better than when I
Mhm.
started at the beginning of the year. So like
Yeah.
it's not always just about the money, because really anybody can make money, but there's a difference between just, putting out what everybody's putting out so that you can make a little bit
Right.
of money, and learning and growing and creating something that is very, very much just yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had a thought and it like literally just ran away.
Yeah, we were in that as well, where last year, especially on the studio side of things and the video content,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't make much, but looking back at the year and looking back at everything, we really made a lot of connections in networking and just going to community events, and not necessarily charging, just going to events, covering them, and tagging those vendors and everything like that. And
Mm-hmm.
we really made a name for ourselves in the community,
Mm-hmm.
and that networking options. And then along the way we started talking about content, and then that started like
Yeah.
taking off on its own.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of things that maybe monetarily last year didn't go
Yeah.
as planned, but there were things that we didn't even plan for
Right.
that blew up
Yeah.
as well.
And yeah, just the learning, that I think my CPA, or, whatever she technically is, my accountant, who I need to talk to because I need to do my taxes.
Yes, we do.
Um, she had, you have like growth years, right? Or then you have like the sales years, and then you have the like, like not every year it's all of them. You kind of need to like choose one focus,
Mhm.
and sometimes that's getting better at your craft, getting better, now I have policies that I actually stick to, or, now I have like a better production process, or, I've weeded out, okay, I'm never doing those products again. Like,
Mhm.
and like there's and then what I said last year, we were not rich in money last year. We were rich in time. And that still is its own currency, right? Because like, yeah, we wish that there would have been a little bit more money in the bank account last year. However, having that extra time gave us more time with the kids. It gave us more time like to be out in our community, and for
Right.
them to get to know us in both communities, locally and like the laser
Right.
events. And those actual networking events that, didn't turn into money then turned into money this year. And so it's a lot of mix of that. And, I'm guilty of it too. You can compare yourself to everyone else's highlight reel and think that you're behind. And, I like what gets me all the time, because I've been in this, I bought my first laser in end of 2018. And I see people all the time like, oh, I started this 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, and they're killing it.
Right.
And it's like, oh, and I'm not
It
necessarily
kills you a little bit.
yeah, it kills me a little bit because I'm not really like killing it like where I'd want to
Right.
be, right? But
Right.
like I have to still recognize like the amount of growth that, we've made, and the amount of transitions we've had to go through, like with life and work and, your job, and figuring out like, where we fit in this new community, because we moved a couple years ago. And yeah, so it's awesome though. I love when I see other makers find like their space. And like I've found mine, but I'm still kind of looking for that as far as like the physical products kind of
Right.
side. And yeah, so I love following the ones that do, because that really is where I think I see people who are the happiest, right? Because we start these businesses so that we can be more happy. That's the thought I forgot forever ago.
There you
go. When we work a corporate job, when you were a hairdresser, right? You're there 8, 10, 12 hours a day. It's where you spend the most time of your day. We should we should spend that time doing something we enjoy doing most of the time, you know?
Well,
So
and something that feels fulfilling to you, I
yeah,
think, is also just as important,
right,
because like you're going to spend so much of your time at your job. Do you really want to be on your deathbed and feel like that was a waste of your life?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've all seen, it was the realization for me. Now, mind you, I really loved the company and the people that I worked with for a very long time. And then, it was the oil and gas industry, and, buyouts and layoffs were common. And one happened, and like pretty much, I mean, my mom, my sister, my favorite boss, they were all like let go. And it was like, oh, holy crap. Like, you always hear that, like, you get hit by a bus, they're listing your position, that next day. And it's like they can care for you in a certain way. At the end of the day, they're a business, and you're just an employee most of the time. And so, I'm giving 9-10 hour days for this job, to where like these people gave their everything, for years.
Right.
And then they were gone like that, and I'm supposed to be like, oh, like I had survivor's guilt after all the layoffs,
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, I was like, okay, no, if I'm going to be spending my all day, every day doing something, it needs to be something that for the most part I really enjoy doing, even if that's for less money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there is something to be said though. I think what keeps people in that is the
security.
the security, the comfort, right? Of
Yeah.
knowing I go in, I put in my time, this is what I get out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They know that, and that number that comes out, they're good with.
Yeah.
When you're living this lifestyle, you don't know. You can put in all the time you want. You don't know what that number is going to look like all the time. Sometimes you're like, wow, that's a lot more. That's a bigger number than the time I put in. And a lot of times it's like, this is all I get for all that time I put in.
Right.
So,
More
and
so,
I mean, and
yeah.
some of that is our own fault for our own pricing, but some of that is just, it just is what it is. It's a roller coaster. It's it's not the stability, but your ceiling, there is almost no ceiling. You can make as much as you want, or as much as there is to make in that project or field.
Right.
So I think that comfort is what keeps a lot of people in that, because this isn't for the weak.
No,
Definitely is not.
I say
for the
that
weak.
all the time. Yeah. Yeah. So how has that been for you? That, like, have you
Peaks
had
and valleys.
the peaks and valleys and navigating those?
I mean, yeah, definitely it's very feast or famine, you have, you go to one market, you make several grand, and then the next
Right.
market, you make $100, right?
Right.
And you leave and you feel so deflated, and it sucks. It sucks. And that's one thing that I miss, is the stability of having the paycheck. I also miss being able to come home at the end of the day and turn off.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that is brutal. It's my third year and I'm still struggling to build a schedule,
The balance.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's nice because sometimes, like, I can work a couple of hours here and I can work a couple of hours here and I can work a couple of hours here, but I never
Right.
truly feel like I've earned rest. If
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes
Well,
total sense.
I mean, I have undiagnosed, officially, ADHD, but even every moment of rest, my brain will make me feel guilty for. The whole time, like, I was sick AF this weekend, and like sitting there on the couch, I'm sitting there thinking of, what can I work on, on the couch? Like, I need to make this productive. And, I kept having, like, it was this, like, devil angel on my shoulder of like, no, you need to rest, like, just do nothing.
I mean,
it's really difficult to do nothing. And like, you were at the studio, like, closing it up, and I wanted to be there to help you do it. And I'm like, I'm not going to be of any help.
And even then, I wanted to be, I was sick too. I wanted to be right there with you.
Yeah.
But I was like, we need to turn the keys in on Monday.
Right.
If I don't do it today, and then that means I have to do everything tomorrow.
Right.
Where like I can let me work today until like I can, and luckily I was able to just finish it on Saturday. But I was like, if I can't finish it today, at least I'll have tomorrow to finish it. But it'll definitely be finished tomorrow, and then Monday we can turn the keys in. If I waited, it was like it might still be able to happen because I did do it in one day,
right.
but I'm running it right up against the wall.
Yeah.
And I just said this morning, I'm like, man, I wish we could take sick days. Like, remember when you could just be like, I'm not going into work today, I'm sick, and then it's like you don't think twice about it. Where now you guilt yourself in I don't feel that bad. Like right now, I don't feel that bad. I could be doing something.
Right.
And I mean, we went to bed early. I think it was Friday night last week. And we went to bed super early because I was like, I need like a full night's rest.
Right.
And tomorrow, like my mom's home and she can help you with the boy. So I don't really have to necessarily wake up early. So I'm going to go ahead and sleep as much as I can. How about at 2 a.m.? I wake up with a coughing attack. And like my coughing attacks are pretty bad.
They're pretty gnarly.
And normally I can fall asleep pretty good.
Yeah.
But I had the idea of this ad to shoot for myself at ISA
at
when
2
we're there.
a.m.
And I kept reworking it in my head of how like I wanted it to look, what the shots were, like breaking it down to the point where I'm like, you know what? So to not wake her up, I went in the closet with my phone and dictated it. My ad wrote it all out, and then I was able to go to bed. I went to bed at like 2. It took me about 45 minutes to just like write, like
that's
storyboard
such a small business owner
and everything because I couldn't. And I was sick. I had just finished having a cough attack, and then since I was up, my body's like, oh, let's think of ideas of how to make our business better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's even when you're sick, it's like you don't really get a sick day, but. It's hard to turn it off because it's everything you put into it is yours, right? It's not like a company where it's like, if I give you my all, I still might get laid off in 2 weeks because I don't know this is coming down the pike.
Right.
As opposed to, if I don't do this, I might have to close it down.
Right.
Because I can't so yeah, it's hard to turn it off.
A lot of pressure. The pressure is hard to deal with sometimes.
Yeah. So what's your favorite part about all of it if we haven't like covered that already?
My favorite part is just getting to make something that is so much mine, something that like I love designing weird different things for people. Like I'm making a sign for a lady right now, and she originally wanted it to be able to sit on her tabletop, and my MacGyver brain kicked in, and I'm like, why don't we see if we can make it clamp to your table? So I bought one of those the like tripod kind of poles with like a table clamp, and it's got a gimbal on the end, and I'm going to figure out how to attach that to her sign so it can kind of, stick up from the back of her table. I love that shit. That's so freaking awesome. I love being able to have a bit of an idea of something and then make
reverse
it
engineer
a reality. Like if it was, 300 years ago, I would totally be that crazy person who lives in the hut at the edge of town, right? With the mob and the pitchforks, because I've got like my glasses with the 3 magnifying glasses, and I just look absolutely insane. Like, that's my jam.
Yeah, I love it. So I actually remembered to ask before the paid portion of the show. Where is it? What is that?
Don't know. It just came out.
What is one tool, skill, or mindset that has impacted your business?
So I think I'm going to go with mindsets. And I have a couple. I have a couple for you guys. So the first one, I think, is don't get caught up in feeling like you have to be able to do everything. I think a lot of laser makers feel like they have to be able to do the thing that people come to them asking for. And if you can't do the thing, I know I'm guilty of feeling like if I can't do the thing, it means that I'm not good at what I do.
Right.
Kind of falling into this niche has shown me that it's okay to be really good at one thing and to say to people, I'm not good at that
Yeah.
thing because it's just a skill I don't practice. So like when people
Yeah.
come to me and they want really acrylic heavy stuff, I
Mhm.
mean, like I could maybe, but that's not my niche. And I know another laser maker who is incredible at acrylic stuff. So I'm going to pass you along to them.
Right.
So yeah, you don't have to be able to do everything. It's okay to find one thing and just go really hard on it. And not being good at everything has absolutely no bearing on your capabilities as a maker.
Right.
Um, hold on. I'm having like an ADHD, like I
I
forgot my
have this
second
all the
thought.
time.
Oh my God, that's the worst.
Oh.
Okay, so oh, every mistake that you make is a beautiful opportunity to learn how to do it better.
Yes.
So, and it's okay to let people know that you're not perfect at that. So sometimes I'll have someone come to me and they'll ask me for something and I'll be like, you know what? I haven't done that yet, but I'm
Mhm.
willing to give it a shot. So because I'm new at this, like, I'll give you maybe like 10, 15% off so that
Right.
I still
Right.
get paid fairly, but also so that your expectation that it's not going to be
Right. Are
perfect is
realistic? Yeah.
yeah. But then I always tell people like, hey, I'm a human being. I'm learning. So if anything goes wrong, just let me know. We'll
Yeah.
figure it out. If like a letter pops off, or recently I went back to a shop that I had made a social media sign for like 6 months ago. And I go
Mhm.
there maybe once a month. And suddenly I showed up and the sign was bowed. And I was like, what happened? And she
Right.
was like, and she's like, oh, I don't know. And I guess we found out that I live in Alberta, in Canada.
Mhm.
It's dry as hell here. And I
Yeah.
think it was so dry this winter that it caused the sheet to
Oh,
bow.
the
And I was like,
warping.
yeah. And I've gotten to the point where I don't let myself feel guilty anymore when things
Right.
go wrong. I used to
Right.
think that like everything had to be perfect all the time.
Right.
And leaving myself space to be a human who is learning and who makes mistakes and who is not perfect has been such a game changer. I used to throw out good projects if they had like a tiny little flaw.
Same.
Now I let myself have one. I like to call it a fuck it. I let myself
Right.
have one for every project. And sometimes I even will put a project away for a couple of days and then come back and see if I can
Smart.
find what I was obsessing about. That's huge. Putting
Yeah.
a project away and coming back to it before I keep, you know,
Well, how do you do
niggling at it
that
and making
when
it
you
worse.
make everything at the last minute?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's a
That's a
great
tough my
tool, but I'm like,
my
how do I do that when I'm always making it the day I need to ship it?
my confidence in my ability to do everything at the last moment is absolute lunacy. Like
Insane.
just it's like the night before and I haven't
Yeah.
started and I'm like, yeah, I'm totally gonna get it's no problem. I'm gonna do it all tomorrow in
Yeah.
4 hours.
Yeah. Well, and here's
Um
a problem. Every once in a while you do, so then that validates, oh, you can. And then you don't, but then you make it work. And then again, then you find a way to justify, why you do it every time.
it's a delicate balance. It's a delicate balance.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, just leaving room for yourself to be a human who makes mistakes. And sometimes I
Yeah.
send off projects and I'm like, hey, there's a thing there. I hate it. I
Hmm.
don't like it. If it bothers you,
Let
especially
me
if
know.
like sometimes people are like, I need this sign for my market on,
Right.
next weekend or whatever. And I'll be like,
Yeah.
take it to your market. If you look at it and you hate it, bring it back. I'll fix it.
Yeah.
And I just try to be really like real with people. Like I don't
Yeah. Same.
ever market myself as a master. Like I very much believe that people treat you the way that you present yourself. And so if you present yourself as this like perfect, whatever, people are going to expect you to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. If
Right.
you present yourself as a human who is trying and learning and makes mistakes, it
Yeah.
allows other people to adjust their expectations as well. And then, it's just so much less stressful for you when you're not afraid of making mistakes and when you're not trying to be perfect all the time. And it
Right.
makes this process so much more enjoyable.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of the perfectionism for sure. And it's like every every time I get hung up on something and the customer just doesn't care or doesn't notice, you'd think like it helps a little bit, but like in the moment, it always just happens again. And it's like, I, as much as, I'll tell myself, okay, no, I remember when this has happened before. They didn't care. It didn't matter. And I'm like, but is this one of those?
Right.
Because my brain cares. So I don't know how to not see the flaw, And like the warp sign, did that customer care that it like had warped a little bit because of, change in humidity and weather and,
No, she didn't care. I was like, do you want me to remake? I can remake this for you, like with acrylic, whatever. And she's like, that's fine. And I'm like, okay, just put a command strip behind and tack it to the board behind it. But, just a little armchair therapist moment for you. It's so important to you that it's perfect because it's important to you that you're perfect. So once you take the customer out of it and you start sort of like working on yourself and just reminding yourself like, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. It gets easier to let those things go because it doesn't feel so risky because it doesn't feel like a reflection of who you are as a person.
Right. Yeah.
You're able to kind of like, take what you make and separate it from who you are.
Right. Well, and I mean, just think of all the things that we buy in stores all the time and how they have like glue that's showing or like, the hole was drilled in the wrong spot or, like even the huge companies still make those, mistakes.
Those one tumblers we saw that had the striping and then on the back.
Oh yeah, it didn't line up.
You see where
there was a gap.
Where the design.
Yeah, and that was Stanley. And I'm sure they're pretty expensive tumblers. And it's like, oh yeah, they can mess up, but I cannot.
But it wasn't a mess up because there were two of them exactly the same. So I'm sure the whole run was that way. It was just like either
just
the design or how it
yeah.
was. And they're like, yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, giving yourself grace is huge, just across the board.
Yeah.
So we're at that time where Gen Pop. Sorry guys,
you gotta go.
It's time to get.
Well, you don't have to go.
You don't have to go. You can
come
join
over to the other side.
You can join Patreon, but that's where we're going next. So before we go to Patreon, where can people find you?
So my website is www.oande.ca. O&D. Or you can find me on Instagram or Facebook. My handle is Oak and Ember YEG. So OAKANDEMBERYEG.
Awesome.
Thank you. And well, with that, the life update is coming up next. We are back. Life update time.
Yes. So
studio's closed.
Yeah, studio's
Done.
closed.
Turn in the keys.
Mm-hmm.
Just waiting on the deposit, on the security deposit.
Yep, definitely bittersweet. It's either just not the right time, not the right space. Things have changed. We're going in, a different direction, and we're leaning into where, people actually want us, need us. And yeah, I'm excited to see, what that means. It was a great experience. We met a lot of people, from there that have now, become friends. It forced us to network so much more to get the word out about, the studio. And yeah, there's always room for something like that in the future if it makes sense with, where our business is at the time. I'm sad that I wasn't able to I'm a little bit sad that I wasn't able to be there to, help you do it. But, I mean, I don't know how much help I would have been anyway. I might have just been in your way. But yeah, so on to bigger, better things.
Yep.
And I'm excited to see, what comes from here, having that space open. We were testing out our walkie-talkies yesterday, and that made me laugh.
Yeah.
I was making my friends laugh who I was doing voice memos with, and they were cracking up at the voice the walkie-talkies back and forth.
Yeah, I love my new office.
I'm a little jelly of the new office. Because mine is just a pigsty right now. So I need to
Well, it's a
organize
workshop.
mine.
I mean, mine is a mess too.
Yeah. It's a pretty mess though.
Kind of.
It's pretty.
It's gonna look better, but
well, and it's because we both have the kind of like the studio. We both have the picture in mind of how we think it's going to look, and like it's closer to that potential than what's behind the camera.
I don't necessarily like the camera angle. It doesn't show as much as I'd like for it to show.
Oh, okay.
So I might have to play with that because I have on my desk, I have my camera set up with my light because I plan to, go live and do my content from my desk.
Yeah.
Around content creation and give content tips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In our new Facebook group,
content creation workship.
Yeah. So.
By Riley Black Studios.
Yeah.
So then it's
so
us.
look out for that that Facebook group. Join it.
Yeah.
If you want tips and tricks on content creation.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, and then also we'll be sharing our some snippets from some of our talks.
Yeah.
In there as well.
Well, and we'll also be sharing wins. Like our win today was that
content win.
So we were in the car line, and I get a message on Instagram that says they liked your Tootsie Roll video. Mm-hmm. And I'm like,
who's they?
What Tootsie Roll what? And I'm like looking, I'm like, okay, this looks like a legit page. Like, what is this? And so then I'm like, and curiosity got me, and I'm like, I said, what? And like question mark, and like eyeball emoji. And then he sends me a video of him with like the 69 boys or whatever, and he's a photographer. And then like a screenshot of the video that me and the 1819 Madera girls did a year ago, 49 weeks ago to be exact, is what the comments said. And yeah, so it was just so funny. Like when I used to do the 90s vibes and packing supplies, videos.
It's crazy thing that was a year ago.
Right?
That you did those.
That part is crazy to me too. Because even Kendra, she goes, "Oh, was that like a year ago?" And I was like, "Really? That long ago?" And she was like, "Yeah, we're wearing vests," which is like their springtime vests apparently. Because they're starting to thaw out, but not quite completely thawed. So the 69 boys actually clicked like on the video, and I guess they watched it and stuff. So that was pretty cool that that they
hopefully who the 69 boys are.
Right. So the Tootsie Roll.
They made the song.
Oh, let's go. Let me see the Tootsie Roll. That song.
The one
Don't make me sing it. Yeah. So anyway, it was like a full circle, just fun, moment. And every single one of those that I did, I tagged the artist, like, hey, if you see this, great. If you don't see it, it's also okay.
Well, since you started a year ago and this is the first one, maybe that means you're about to be liked by all of them.
Yeah, all of them are gonna come.
they're all gonna discover that your old video within this year.
So that was cool. We're all joking. That's when you made it, and we can retire now because basically, they saw and liked our video. But no, it was fun. It makes making content like a little bit easier, I guess, because it's like. And then it's also like a little bit more pressure of, oh, someone might see this. Like,
well, maybe not pressure, but it definitely
a year later
gives you the win and re-energizes. And, and it's fun.
Yeah, it was a fun, silly moment. Does it mean anything? No. Was it actually even like potentially them and not their team? That's always like a possibility.
Right.
But yeah, so it was just fun. The guy, who sent the message was a photographer, and he was actually in Michigan, and we were just in Michigan last week. And then he's also taking his girls down, to vacation in Florida. We're not meeting up or anything. But it was just cool. And I mean, us being stuck on that travel delay almost a couple times, showed us how we really have truly this like network of people we've met across the United States and further. I mean, our guest she's from Canada.
Yeah.
So, you just never know, like, when someone you've met in your past is going to come along and, like, help you out, or that you're going to run into or cross paths, some way. So every connection to me, just especially as of lately, is just a little bit cooler, because you never know, like, what that might turn into. The sports guy that messaged me about my sports stuff on my website, I would have never thought that, like, 6 months from, like, meeting him, that I'd be staying in his apartment. Like, he'd be cooking for us, and I'd be like, you're crazy. And then, here we are. So,
or there we were.
Right. But yeah, that was a cool little moment today. So, now it's just, trying to get caught up from being gone and in time for leaving for the next one, which is ISA in a couple weeks.
I am glad it's in Orlando and it's a short drive away.
And there's no planes involved on this one, thankfully.
Yeah. Hopefully for everyone who's traveling, they don't get caught up in those long last lines.
Yeah. Chance just got caught in some of that.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah. Right?
I'm surprised he didn't go. He should have gone live.
He should have. Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, sail everybody! But then his employees would be like, "Shut up, Chance! You're not even here."
Or he should do like one of those patches, something about the lines or something.
Yeah,
is what he should have done.
Yeah,
or should do, I guess. Lines are still going on.
So, that's I think all we got. We've closed the studio.
Studio shut
leaning
down.
more into, again, the content creation stuff. John is basically done with his mini content creation course. I just need to review it.
I have to send it in for review. The CEOs, and they have to all review it from Riley Black headquarters.
Right.
And then hopefully we get the okay to publish, and it should be out soon.
I think you will. My tweaks usually aren't huge.
Well, here's the thing with your tweaks.
You don't have a studio.
You're going to be able to see the tweaks because they won't be in the same studio.
No, they'll be enhancements. Yeah. So I'm excited for you because we've been talking about that course. I mean, for probably about a year now. So just from initial thought to actual, creation.
Yeah, and there'll be an ebook. So if you're interested in an ebook, there'll be an ebook version of it as well.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. I think that's
all we got.
Jinx.
So with that, it's been a great episode of the Right Back Project. Crystal and John.
Bye.
Maybe we're all done. The Right Back Project. Bye.
Say bye.
Bye.
Wait, hold on. Nino, I'm recording.